It's a modern challenge. How do we reclaim our health and happiness in a world that encourages us to overspend, overindulge, and underthink? Authors of Brainwash and father and son team Dr. David Perlmutter and Dr. Austin Perlmutter join us now with tips on how we can detox our minds. So, doctors, welcome today.
Glad to be here. Thank you, Belinda.
Thanks for having us.
So this title, Brainwash, it's very intentional and attention grabbing. Where does that name stem from?
It stems from our recognition that, in fact, what our ability is to make good decision has been altered, and it's been altered by our modern world, by the foods that we eat, by our exposure, our aggressive exposure to digital media, by things like our lack of restorative sleep. All of those things virtually conspire to keep us away from the ability to make good decisions. I mean, you just had a segment on yoga, how great, and we all know that's good for us, but how many people actually then make the choice to engage that, to dedicate time to participating in that activity?
Right, and you're actually really just giving time back to yourself. But let's touch on this. How have our health, relationships, and decision-making abilities been damaged by living in the modern world?
Yeah, well, let's think about where we're at. We've got so many people suffering from these preventable conditions. Even to some extent, things like depression and anxiety. The world isn't setting us up for success. And specifically, it's setting us up for bad decisions. So what we're talking about in the book is how do you rewire your brain for good decisions so you're able to get to those things you care about, being a healthier, happier, better person.
Austin and I we're both physicians, and asking the question, why is it we give so much information to our patients and they don't follow through, and we're blaming them? And in a very real way, people blame themselves for not being able to follow through, let's say, on their New Year's resolutions. But what we've discovered is that our decision-making ability is threatened and compromised by so many of the things you just mentioned, the trappings of our modern lives. The good news is we can reclaim that ability. We can reconnect to the parts of the brain that let us make better decisions that will affect us in both the short term and absolutely in the long term.
Okay, so you guys don't have to sell me anymore. I feel like I need to reclaim that ability too. But what is that actual link between the information and us taking action?
This is it. This is what we're talking about. We know the information. You've probably got all these great books on your bookshelf. You probably have listened to wonderful programs like this program you're doing right now. It doesn't matter unless you can put it into action. And the way you do that is you take back your brain. You rewire your brain to allow you to follow through. That's what the book is about.
And again, we present how your brain has been manipulated. We all know that happens online, that's for sure. But who knew that even getting a single bad night of sleep or not eating a good diet threatens the decision-making part of the brain? And what Brainwash is all about is offsetting those hacks, if you will, and redeveloping connection, as actually physically rewiring our brains to the better decision-making part of the brain by getting out in nature, by paying attention to how much sleep we get, by changing our diets, by re-engaging exercise. That'll give you the ability right now to make better decisions that will serve you for a lifetime.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. David and Dr. Austin Perlmutter. We cannot wait to look further into that plan.